Why is your yacht not going to be parked next to mine? Don't you understand? We can laugh at the system. We can mock the system, but you're still inside of the system. So who's really winning? When we call them dumb idiot losers, but they still control your life, what does that make you? You need to work harder now than ever. This is your last chance. And everyone thought, a leprechaun's gonna bring me gold. You can't even find a leprechaun to fuck, let alone bring you gold. You do not stand a chance of escaping the matrix with any of the traditional pre-trodden paths. You're never going to get rich if you get a university degree from traditional education. You're never going to get rich by buying your first home. You're never going to get rich by getting a job.
I realized I had to get rich when I was 16 years old. I've told this story before, but I was walking to college with 3 of my friends and a guy burnt past in a red Ferrari. And I said to my friends while we were walking, how does this man have 300,000 pounds for a car when none of our families even have cars? Back then, the world was different. It wasn't like it is now. When I was 16, you didn't see money. I didn't see money. I didn't have the internet. I didn't see private jets. I didn't know Monaco. I didn't know Saint-Tropez was a place. I didn't know about girls on yachts. I didn't know about anything. I'm growing up in England completely flat broke. And the first time I had access visually to money, I knew I couldn't live as a second-class citizen any longer. I make all of this clear to people, and I say that money is a competency test. You simply need to want it. If you want it, you're going to get it. But you're not going to get anything in this life you do not want. The cocaine-addicted addict wants money for cocaine and that's why he's richer than you. The addict needs money for that's how he manages to get some new money every day with no job. You don't want it enough. If you want to get rich, I absolutely guarantee you will get rich. You have the entire world at your fingertips and you're still not motivated and you still don't care enough and you're still not prepared to try something new. You think you're working hard because you do your job every day. You're actually extremely lazy because you do your job every day because you don't want to think outside the box. You're so lazy, you would rather work all day every day than think of a new idea or try something new.
Wanting things is not the same as being dedicated towards something. Dedication is action. It doesn't matter. Everyone wants shit. When you dedicate yourself to something, only then will God give it to you. So unless you hate being broke, you'll never be rich. And I'll tell you why. Because poor people will say, man, I really want to be rich. And then for 3 days, they'll try. But the majority of the time, they're actually happy being broke. They're happy playing a video game, eating some ramen, and sitting around with their friends. So they only feel temporarily motivated to escape the trap. But most of the time, they're happy to be exactly where they are, which is why they'll stay exactly where they are. They don't hate being broke. I had permanent insomnia when I was poor. I was like, there must be a way. I'm missing something. So unless you hate being poor, you're not going to love being rich enough to ever get there. As a man, if you want to even be able to show love to the world, you need to be extremely capable of so many things. Why, when a little loser with no money tells a girl, I love you, why doesn't she care? Because it doesn't mean anything. Because even if you love her, if she needs a hospital bill paid, you can't pay it. If she needs defending on the street, you can't defend her. If she needs her problems fixed, you can't fix them. So your love means nothing. When the big, strong, rich, important billionaire says he loves her, it matters. So if you're a man and you say, oh yeah, I love my family, but you're not rich, not really. Because if you really loved them, you'd be trying your very best to be as capable as possible of taking care of them. If you love them, you'd be working your ass off. You love your family, but you're broke playing video games. You don't love them. You're not allowed to love things as a man unless you have things. So if you want to tell a woman you love her and see her eyes light up, if you want to tell your parents you love them and then be able to relax in old age, all of that's going to happen when you get big, strong, and rich. But when you're a brokey, your love means nothing. Your loyalty means nothing. Why do I need the loyalty of a man who's so weak that if I'm attacked on the street, he can't help me? Andrew, I'm loyal to you. Okay, we're under attack. It's a street fight. I'm getting stabbed. And you're standing there pissing your pants. What does your loyalty mean? This is how the world works as a man. So if you're the kind of man who is not dedicated and not motivated to permanently become as strong and rich as possible, you're not even capable of being loyal to or loving anything.
If you want to make money, It's not for you to be able to fly on private jets across the Atlantic and smoke a fat cigar. That's not why you need to make money. You need to make money so that you finally are useful to the people who care about you and who you care about. You know, I'm fine with economy. I don't give a shit. I'm a full-grown man. I'll go and sit on an economy flight for 22 hours to Sydney, Australia from LA. Doesn't matter to me. Instead, I'm on a $200,000 private jet. Well, does that make me happy? Not really. You know what does make me happy? Makes me happy that I can put the woman I love on a private jet. It makes me happy that if I want to see my children, I can put them on a private jet so they turn up quickly enough for me to spend a single hour with them. I can spend $200,000 to get an hour with my kids because a jet is faster than sitting around at an airport with a bunch of brokies. It matters to me that if my mother has a heart attack, I can afford the best surgeon on the planet. It matters to me that if my grandma dies, I can give her the best possible funeral. What matters to me is that I can actually take care of the people I love. I don't give a shit about having money. I'll go back to living in a single room with Tristan sleeping on the floor like we did when we were broke. I don't care. I'll go back to flying economy after saving for an entire year to get a 3-day holiday and some all-inclusive dump in Spain. I don't give a fuck. What I do care about is that I finally have money to be useful to the people I love. Because when I was broke, I wasn't very useful to people. I would see the people I care about struggling. I'll go to economy, no problem. I don't want the woman I love sitting in economy with a bunch of peasants. I don't want the woman I love going to work, having a male boss and a bunch of male colleagues trying to fuck her all day because I can't afford to retire her. What kind of man would that make me to send my woman into the lion's den with dudes who are going to be constantly trying to get her fucking tits out? And I'm going to sit there and go, oh, well, I don't have enough money, so I guess she just needs to work. Well, you're just going to accept that? Because you're not going to try, because you're not motivated, because you're not dedicated? Having money as a man has actually nothing to do with yourself. If you're smart enough to make money as a man, you're probably stoic enough to not give a shit. I don't give a fuck about diamond watches. I don't care about cars. I don't care about private jets. I don't care about a big, nice house. I don't care about any of it. I will go back to bug level, back to the dirt, living in a fight gym like I used to. I don't care. But what I do care about is being so monumentally incompetent that the people I love and the people who rely on me can't get what they need from me, or I have to expose them to dangers. Well, my woman has to get the fucking bus, or stand around the street waiting for an Uber because she hasn't got a private driver, or my security team can't go pick her up because I can't afford one. What happens when she gets raped? What happens when something happens to her? What am I going to say? Oh, but I still love you. Clearly not very much. Because I didn't love her enough to dedicate myself to get rich to prevent her from fucking getting ganked on a street corner. So what does my love even matter? What is my love even worth? Poor men, useless men, incompetent men's love means nothing. It doesn't matter how much you love a woman. It doesn't matter how much you love your children. It doesn't matter how much you love your family. If you can't help them, provide for them, protect them, take care of them. And if you're gonna wake up every day as a man and lack dedication and motivation to get rich because you don't have enough fire inside of your heart to be dedicated towards taking care of the people you love, then you're probably a piece of shit person. I'm at the point now when some man goes, oh, I'd love to get rich, but I'm struggling with motivation. I look at him and it's like he's scum. You lack the motivation to what? Love your woman and love your family and love your children? You're either a dipshit, you're either one of the useless men, and there's a whole bunch of them out there. You're either a useless loser, or you're the kind of person who's going to do anything it takes to win because you understand you have obligations as a man. You are obligated to protect. You can't not be able to fight. You have a job. You can't not afford things. You have a job to do. And it is for that reason you need to get rich. Not for yourself, for everybody else. And you will see how much better life is when people look at you with respect. Finally, for the first time in your life, when women look at you with a different look in their eyes, when they finally respect you. When men, important men, meet you and they finally respect you. When your family is finally proud of you. And all of that happens when you dedicate yourself to something. When you finally start to make more money than anyone else in your family can even fathom. That is when you're going to feel happy, and that is when you're going to matter. And it's truthfully your job. It is your job as a man. It has been bestowed upon us by the universe, by the cosmos, since the dawn of human time, to wake up, dedicate ourselves, and become capable. The average person sitting here going, my life's going to be fine. You are in for a very, very rude awakening. AI is going to make the average person absolutely obsolete. That is a fact. That's all a lie and it's all garbage. It's going to become harder and harder for anybody to have any significance in the world today unless they're an exceptional person. That is hard for most people to do. And it's going to get to a point where you're not going to be able to drive where you want, fly where you want, eat what you want. You're going to have no freedom. You're going to own nothing and you will not be happy and you won't even be able to resist. And once all of this happens, it's over for everybody. Wear the mask or get shot on the spot. It's coming for everybody. And the only chance you have to escape any of this is exceptionalism. The average person's life is going off a cliff, which means you don't have time to sit around worrying about how you feel. Instead, you have to wake up and say, this is almost impossible, but I'm going to do it. And you have to get it done.
You need to now, and this is the actionable, guys, you need to cultivate a lifestyle which is going to endlessly give you fire inside of your heart so that you never struggle with motivation ever again. You need to cultivate that with your social circle. So you need to be around motivated, hungry men. You need to cultivate it with the decisions you make. The reason you lose is because you've been programmed to lose by all of your experiences throughout life. Winners are programmed, losers are programmed. I was programmed to be a winner in any scenario because I was raised in a very specific way. You were not. So we're going to start at the absolute beginning of why you've ended up a loser, because most of you never self-reflect. You're dummies who never look in the mirror and say, how did I end up where I am? Why am I the person I am? Why do I believe the things I believe? You don't self-analyze. So you don't understand how your own mind works, which means you don't understand why you are where you are. Because before you make a move on the chessboard, you need to analyze your position. By analyzing the board, the smartest thing you can do is to try and take your strengths and play them off against your weaknesses. So if you're poor, you have hunger and motivation, what you have to do is fix the things you don't have. You need to get around rich people. You need to get a good network of people you can trust who have a lot of money. You need to find a teacher who's prepared to teach you how money really works. That's the first thing. The second thing, and your biggest problem to fix, is your monumental laziness. And you have to understand that you innately are lazy. You innately lack hunger and fire. You're innately afraid. You're a coward. You lack the balls it takes in many scenarios to get rich or die trying. That's the truth. People in the ghetto already have the fire. Those brothers already have fire. Yeah. They're already prepared to do anything it takes. You need to ignite the fire inside of you. You need to make sure there's something inside of you that's going to get you motivated like a poor person's hunger, because you've never felt it before. Because the poor don't need motivation. The poor understand what it's like to be taken advantage of. And the poor understand what happens when you have no money and no food. You don't. You're not poor. You have food in your fridge. For a man, your contentment will come from your purpose, and it will come from your competence, and it will come from succeeding objectives. It will come from completing difficult things that other people cannot complete. It will never come from the easily accessible hedonism, which you have confused for fun. So how do you find happiness? Happiness is in struggle. The struggle and the size of the struggle you're facing, along with how important it is and how important you feel it is deep in your heart, is directly correlated to how successful and how happy you're going to feel all of the time. Struggle is extremely important for a man. You should be looking to inject struggle into your life permanently. You do not need fun until you've already reached the highest possible echelon. So this whole idea that you need fun in your life, you don't. What you need is purpose. You need discipline. You need hard work. You need things to do which are going to benefit you and the others around you. You need duty. You need obligations. And you need performance metrics. You need people around you who are going to hold you accountable. You're nobodies. You're not important. Nobody knows who you are. You're not physically strong. You're not financially wealthy. You have bigger concerns. Your obsession with fun is holding you back. These things you think are fun aren't fun.
The average people come to me and say, what do I do? I'm just the average guy. And my only answer is stop being the average guy. Any man out here who goes, I'm just going to work hard, do my bit, and obey the laws, and I'll have a good life. No, you won't. Just doing your job is never going to make you rich, because you're just going to be taxed into infinity and you're going to stay broke. Man, it's about to be worse than ever before. As the price of assets soar, the rich are going to become richer and the poor are going to become poorer. The matrix can be cracked. You can make a bunch of money, but you need to take responsibility and do it. Nobody else is going to wake up and care more about your life than you. If you won't wake up every day and say, I need to get rich, nobody else is going to wake up and say, I need to make him rich. Yeah. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So if you don't think it, nobody else is going to think it, which means nobody thinks it. You're the only person on the planet who can think it. And I always knew, I never doubted for a second I would be what I am. I was just like, there's no way that guy in the Ferrari who drove past me is a better person than me. And I was not arrogant, because arrogance prevents you from working. Arrogance to the people who watch Love Island and go, I'll be rich later. Most people are very arrogant. I was never arrogant. I understood, okay, I'll just outwork him. Maybe he's smarter than me. Fine, I'll outwork him. There are people out here who are prepared to work their ass off.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be that guy, then you're going to lose. And I've yet to experience in my 36 years a man who genuinely tries their very best and is genuinely motivated to make sure they're the best version of themselves, who doesn't get what they want. It's been proven.